Welcome to yet another episode of Gumzo Open Source Podcast. So today I want to discuss about a very utility-based, generous solution for monitoring, analyzing your web usage, or basically web analytics. And this solution is called Umami. It's open source. It has a freemium distribution model. But the unique thing that I have observed over the past few days of implementing it is that it has a very simple yet utility-based approach to presenting the metrics. You can see at a first glance, you see all the websites that you have added. So what it shows you on the dashboard is a glimpse of each resource that you have added. And resources, I mean websites. A web analytics solution will typically show you the views, visits, visitors, number of visitors you've had, the bounce rate, the visit duration, and it will give you a duration for these metrics. So this could be over the past 24 hours, this week, last 7 days, this month, where it gives you 30 days overview, a 90-day overview, an annual view, and an all-time view. So for me, I find it a bit, not even a bit, but extremely helpful and convenient the way they present the notion of usability, simple, clear, concise. And then, as if that is not enough, you have the ability to drill down or even to toggle the charts. So if I click on toggle charts, the charts are hidden. So I'm only left with the metrics, the numbers, the numerical metrics. If I click edit, then I can go to my websites and I can decide to reset, save, or cancel. But let me just go back to the dashboard. Just save that. Go back to the dashboard and bring back my graphs. I like visuals. So if you click on view details, what you see now is a drill down for that particular resource. You remember we were seeing the website, number one website, we were seeing its metrics, only the numerical top level metrics and the graph. But here now, once you drill down, what you're seeing is you have metrics on pages, metrics on referrers, metrics on browsers, OS, devices. Then here comes another interesting bit, the geography. You don't have to click so much to view these metrics. It's not like other metrics engines that I know that are commercial. This is open source, and you can see what it gives you. Like for me, number one for this particular website is Kenya. I can clearly see that, and the way they've presented the information is by default is in descending order, and besides the numbers, they give you the percentages, right, and a map on the left. So that's how they present the geographical analytical points in regards to web analytics. Then below there is my most interesting feature that I have seen as a developer. I felt this was quite going above and beyond. Ability for you to customize and configure your own events. Like for example, you can see here, if I wanted to know how many people logged in today, that solution, then I have the numbers here. I can see another custom event, payslip generation, it's a report, logging out, successful signing, that is linked to approvals of documents, there's P9 generation, view balance, and what have you, even viewing of budgets. That is how they have decided to simplify and make it a user-friendly analytical tool. This tool is called Umami, as you might have noted, and the very nature of them being open source, they have enabled, let me just go to Umami GitHub. They have enabled developers to have a look at the code and customize it if you want. And you can see it's in active development. The last update was made on the continuous integration workflow 6 months ago. Actually, if you drill down on commits, that is what tells you whether it's active or not. The last pull request was done 2 months ago. So that tells you then that this is an active solution. It's a solution with an active community and contributions. So they say Umami is simple, fast, privacy-focused alternative to Google Analytics. Truth be told, I was extremely happy when I saw you can actually get real-time metrics besides what we have looked at. Let me go to, I was at overview. Let me go to real-time. In real-time, if you have users who are actively utilizing your web resource, your web application, then you will see, as you can see, there are metrics that have changed, even as we are explaining. This is a real-time bird's eye view of what is happening on your platform. And the other interesting bit is the compare. The compare, if you're viewing your metrics within a period, a time frame of 24 hours, then that can be compared to the exact time frame, the exact previous time frame, and you can have an idea of what has changed. Like for example, you can see the views have changed from the previous to the current by 1,000%, over 1,378% in regards to views. When you go to visits, again over 483% change. So it's a very good tool, and especially for marketers or people managing websites, or even web designers who are looking at ways to optimize, or whether their interventions are favorable or not. Then the other thing is that you can customize your reports. You can create, let me just do create, and from the templates that they have, especially something like a funnel, if you're into marketing, this will be something that is very helpful, an element that is quite useful. In fact, in regards to customer relationship management, funnels are quite critical. So you can see you can use their templates in regards to insights, UTM, goals, journey, retention, and what have you. So for me at Gumzo Open Source podcast, in fact, let's go even beyond Gumzo Open Source podcast and focus on Gumzo eBoard systems. We have decided that Umami will be our prime web analytics tool. As much as we've tried other open source tools, in fact, we were thinking of reviewing another tool, Matomo, but we decided no. This has killed it with the self-installable community version. If this is what you get, then I don't think there's any other tool that you might require for your daily analytical needs. So we were just focusing on an overview, a review of this particular analytics tool, web analytics tool. and you can see the level of detail they give you. One more thing is that for this you have to define. We just go to their website, Umami Web Analytics. So we do not want to script and just mention things out of a script. It's good to back any pronouncement with pure facts. So you can see again, what you see here is similar to what we have shown you on our instance. This is, by the way, this is a self-hosted instance on our one of our servers. So and you can see the good thing is that there are no cookies. So when they say they are privacy centered, it's quite true, because what cookies do, they insert files for tracking in your web application, in the browser, in the client's browser. Therefore, that conflicts with privacy related jurisdiction or privacy compliance. So for me, if you ask me, I would say, number one, it's easy to use, as they say, and number two, the privacy is unmatched. So you can track your website's performance without needing opt-in cookies, banners that you have seen in so many websites. And you can see when you go down, I wanted to show they have been vouched for by the likes of AMD, Accenture, ESPN, Siemens, Hulu, SP. These are pretty big players, and if these are their customers, then there's no need for you to doubt. If AMD is serious, it's a serious company that does processors. ESPN, they have serious traffic in regards to their holdings in sports. So you can see the features here. They are saying they offer effortless analytics. That's quite true. Visitor insights, we issued that. Custom events, this was the key for me as a software developer. I needed to know how is the user interacting with the various features, various data points that we have on the site. But let me go to the docs and show you how that is implemented. It's actually implemented using tags, data attributes. Let me see. Track events. So you can see besides page views, Umami is also able to track events that occur on your websites, and that is quite critical. There are two ways to record events in Umami. You can use data attributes, as I had mentioned, or JavaScript. So if you're not so much of a developer, then the data attributes will go a long way. So what happens is you have to first have an element like this. This is a button, typical HTML button. Then what you need to add is a data attribute, but it has to have this Umami nomenclature. The data, then Umami, then hyphen event. That is how now you declare an event. Then in that button, the way it fits in, you come and insert it here. Data Umami event. Then the value here is the name of the event. As you're seeing here, the value is like ESS login. So the button that you click to log in, that is what we added. We said data Umami event, then the value was ESS login. That's why it was able now to capture the number of actions for that particular event. So this is an unprecedented tool, an unprecedented feature in an open source community wide distributed utility. The other thing is you can see you can append data, but I didn't have a very good experience with this because what happens is that it produces for each, let's say, for each event, this is the event, but then this is the data that you have appended. So you will have the event sign up button, and then you will have multiple records showing the sign up button, the email data, and the ID data. Let me just show you something here and tell you the workaround that I did. Event data. So you can see approval rejection. Let's have an event like this. So you can see it tells me that I have a total of 3 records. But the rejection, the approval rejection event itself, it had 3 data points. The approver, it had the document, and it had the sender. So you see, if you wanted to aggregate, to see an aggregated view and see values that make sense, like you want to have one value for approval rejection, not 3 data points, you need to concatenate the data that comes from the approver, the data that comes from the document, and the sender, so that this one record has those 3 data points. Otherwise, now when you define it like the way they're showing here, you will have like 2 data points for this particular event, and there will be different rows. So if you wanted to know who signed up, the best way to do it is to have one event attribute like user, and append the email and the ID, if that is possible. Ideally, I don't know when you're logging in whether you could see an ID, but I mean, probably this is just a custom identifier for that particular event. But that is the only weakness I have seen in the way that it's not a weakness per se, it's just a customized, it's just a preference in regards to the way I want to collect my data. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I'm excited because it's a JavaScript stack that has created this Next.js running on Node.js. So it's basically JavaScript per se, and no heavy dependence. It's very lightweight. In fact, this was the easiest installation we have done for all the reviews that we do. And mind you, we like running reviews of tools we have experience in terms of installation, because you might review a tool. Yes, it's a nice tool, but it's a nightmare to install, that you have to go and look for support which is paid. Yeah, but these guys are transparent, and the way they earn money is by having a cloud service at Umami. Let me see. You are actually required to sign up. Products, community, self-hosted, cloud. So the cloud is where now you are able to, interact with the software as a service version for Umami. So you have to sign up and look at the pricing. So if you're a hobbyist, then the hobby plan should work for you. But then if you decide to go pro, it will be $9 a month. And this, I think it's per account, it's not per user. I felt this was a really fair price, because most of the offerings are per user per month, but this one is per account. And per each account, in fact, you can create your own team. In the settings, like this is our own instance, you can see we can add teams. We can add teams here. So you create a team and you add members. You will view. You see members. I can add members. You can add members. I can manage, basically deleting that team. I can still add my websites here for tracking. Let me just go back to settings. Let me go to websites. The dashboard. We do not have any configured. Okay. Where have I gone? No, I've gone to my team. My team does not have any websites. Let me go back to my account. Yes. Settings. And add a website. This is how it is, as simple as this. Give it a name and a domain. Just mention the domain. It doesn't have to be fully qualified. And maybe, for example, do a sample. Let's say recruitment portal. Then I can say recruitment.com. Save. Now you see it doesn't have to include HTTPS, so we'll call it recruitment portal. So remember this domain, I think it's misplaced because if you're doing a domain, it's supposed to be a fully qualified domain name. But nonetheless, let's just save. I think they want, I just say recruitment portal.com. Let me see whether it agrees to that. Yeah, it agrees to that. This is just an example. Recruitmentportal.com. Then you can view. So there's nothing. The reason as to why there's nothing, let me just go back to the setting and click on edit. The reason as to why there isn't anything is because I need to go to my site and ensure that I have referenced this so that Umami knows the website ID it's tracking. Then I need to take my tracking tag. So to track stats for this website, place the following code in the head section of your HTML. That is pretty basic for any developer or designer. So you need to take this and place it. And if you're doing control versioning, then you might need to take these values, the website ID and the source value. You need to place them in environment variables so that you don't mess up your analytics between various environments. Then after that, after you've installed these, the analytics will start coming in, and finally you can share the URL. You can make it shareable. So if you enable that, then you can take this and embed it somewhere or share with your team. So that is the long and short of it. Let me just go back to the website and just remove this recruitment portal. I'm not working on it. So go to delete, confirm. So for them, they behave like GitHub. Yeah, that's deleted. You have to confirm just to ensure it's not an automated decision or action. So in a nutshell, that is how Umami behaves. For me, I think it's an enterprise tool that is way ahead of its time in regards to open source, because some of these tools, especially the custom events tracking, are only found in enterprise solutions that are paid for, that are commercial, proprietary. So I'm loving it. As Gumzo open source podcast, will be using these for any future web resources that we will be deploying. This is what we'll be using. So with that, I thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure.